Obviously, coming off a disappointing loss at Memphis, didn't think we had the effort that we'd had previous two games. I thought our effort's been much better in practice these last 2 days. Big points emphasis on defensive rebounding. It's been bad the last two games, but I just thought our overall energy was not where it needed to be against Memphis. I think some of the leaders on the team realize that we got to practice harder if we're going to be ready to go and bring the energy we need to in games where we got to bring it in practice. So yesterday, we have the catapult system that kind of measures explosiveness and effort, and that our trainer Clark gets us the info. He told us it was the highest team average he's had in the 7 years they've been using it here. So I thought we got after pretty good in practice yesterday. Quinterly had the highest, they call it explosive ratio numbers on the catapult. He had the highest explosive ratio in the history of the program in the 7 years they've been using this for one player. So Quinterly was really good in practice yesterday, but I thought most of our guys got after it a little bit. So I think we had one of the better practices we've ever had yesterday. We had another good one today. We're looking forward to Jacksonville State. Ray does an unbelievable job everywhere he's been, getting these guys to play really hard. They're going to be a hard-playing group. The year before, I got here, they beat us in a close scrimmage where the box score got leaked. So we've had a close scrimmage with them my first year, played them in a game last year, played them in a game again this year. They always play us tough, hard. We've got to do a way better job on the defensive glass than we have the previous two games because they've got some big, strong, physical guys. Their starting center, Brandon Huffman, started his career in North Carolina. Kane Henry plays hard, it's tough, physical. We've got to do better the 4 and 5 spots of rebounding it. Our perimeter guys got to do a better job keeping guys in front of them so we don't have blow-bys where the bigs have to step up, which gives up offensive rebounds. We just got to do a better job cleaning up the defensive glass.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start our first question with Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, after you challenge a team like you did the other night, the leadership, what are you looking for the most in the next practice? What's the tangible proof of your message getting through?
I just think the overall effort. I thought we really lacked effort against Memphis. There's each player has individual stuff they've got to get better on. Well, if you're not going hard, you can't get better because you're just, if you're doing things at 70, 75% speed, you're not going to get better at what you need to do in the games because you're not going at game speed. So, I thought our effort was great. I think, Shaq gives us really good effort pretty much every day. I thought he was really good. Him and Quinterly were paired up in practice, and I thought they were great. Our bigs, I think, are trying to rebound it better, and Coach Hodson's in charge of our bigs. He's got all of them still going. He's making them stay after every day in practice and do rebounding drills after practice is done, in addition to the ones we do in practice because he's tired of seeing the rebounding numbers from our bigs. I think they're going to answer the bell in a big way. But we got to get better, and it can't be a 1 day in practice, 2 days in practice kind of thing. It's got to become who we are.
Nick Kelly.
Yeah, you keep mentioning effort, and they talked about being locked in more. Is effort something that is just like a light switch that you just turn on and off, or how do you kind of get better effort?
No, I thought we had it against Gonzaga. I don't think we beat a team that good without playing super hard. I thought our Houston game, and if you look at we measure effort by a lot of different variables, our blue-collar points, the catapult system that's more training room thing, just to see how explosive the guys are moving and how many explosive movements they've got. I think it's more of a thing where maybe we got a little full of ourselves, arrogant, coming off 2 great wins. We think we can show up and we're a really good team just because we're a really good team and we beat good teams. That's not why we're a really good team. We're a really good team because we've got skilled players that play really hard and play together. So we still have really skilled players, but I thought the Memphis game, we didn't play hard, and we started to get back to where we had some selfish plays too. We didn't play hard and we didn't play together, even though we've got really skilled players. We're really talented. showed in Memphis, right? I mean, they lost 4 straight. They've got a ton of talent. They weren't playing as hard as Penny wanted to play, and they weren't playing nearly as together based on his comments in the media. And they finally had a wake-up call, and they brought it against us, and they looked a lot better. Well, and we didn't bring it. It's kind of dealing with kids these age and human nature in general. When things are going well, sometimes there's relaxing that you've got to get out of your program. And I think this week, we realize if you relax and don't bring the effort you need to bring, we're just not that good. When we play as hard as we played those other games, we're pretty good. So let's get back to playing hard and being who we are.
Charlie Potter.
Yeah, hey, Coach. You mentioned just the effort that both Quinterly and Shaq showed, but calling for the leadership, did you also maybe see guys step up and be more vocal? Was it a situation where they did that, or was it more lead by example kind of thing?
A little bit of both. I don't think you can speak up and talk if you're not leading by example. You can, but people aren't going to listen to you. So I think it's one of those deals where our guys are smart enough to know that, like, I've got to bring it, and I got to be playing hard before I'm speaking about playing hard. So I think, we're establishing, obviously Quinterly's a senior, Shaq's our most experienced guy here, 3rd year in the program. I talked to both those guys, like, you got to be bringing it, for you to talk, but we need you to talk. Like, we need you to speak up. We need your leadership. So I think there's been a little, let's establish the fact you're going to be the hardest playing guys on this team, in practice, in games, everything. And then let's speak up when things need to be addressed, because you have established the fact that you're that. So, the practices have been good. I've definitely heard some more communication out of guys. It hasn't been a huge, there was no Newt Rockney type speeches or anything like that, but guys are speaking up, and everybody in this program knows where we need to get this thing to, because we've had it there. I thought we were the hardest playing team in the SEC last year. We won a championship based on it. There's been games this year where we've been one of the hardest playing teams in the country, and I thought we were the hardest playing team in some of those big wins we've had this year, and we got to get back to doing that again.
Next up, Adam Zagoria.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up, Zach? It's good to have you on.
Thanks. Just with the COVID situation, obviously a bunch of games nationally have been postponed, canceled, whatever. As far as, precautions for that, is Alabama doing anything as far as, like, separating you guys from the women's team, or separating the football team, or separating teams out? Or our trainer's well aware, and he's talked to me even earlier this week about different things. We've got all the guys eligible for booster shots, taking care of those types of things that, I'll say this, we're not in the same, but the women have their own building separate from us anyways. So we don't have any interaction with them anyways. Football team's in its own separate building. Really, we're kind of in our own little cocoon over here. So we're cognizant of the fact that the NBA and other college programs are, losing guys, losing games to COVID again. We don't want to miss any games. So we're taking every precaution we can, with, having multiple buses when we land, having, people traveling with the program, riding different buses, people more susceptible to maybe getting COVID, having their own hotel rooms, not putting people that would be susceptible to it in the same hotel room, keeping masks on people that within the program would be more susceptible to getting COVID. So we're, and when we're in tight places, making sure that guys are masked up. So we're doing what we can. I'll say this, it seems throughout this thing that sometimes certain programs do everything they can and it still gets hit with some COVID. There's controllables and uncontrollables. We're trying to control what we can in the controllables. And then we're just going to deal with the consequences on anything that comes up. And some of these games, it's the opponent maybe that, what's Jacksonville State doing? What's Colorado State doing? Is there, but on our end, we have not had anybody with COVID in the program since school started this year. We've done a really good job, I think, since it started way back, a year and a half ago or whatever it was. And I think we've got one of the best trainers in the business, some of the best medical staff, the doctors dealing with it, our team doctor, the other doctors on campus. We've done a pretty good job handling it. We're going to continue to do a good job handling it, but that doesn't guarantee we're not going to have any issues.
Joey Blackwell.
Hey, Coach. That question was kind of perfect segue into my question. Just a few minutes ago, Colorado State announced that their Saturday game against Tulsa was being canceled due to COVID concerns. I was just wondering if you were aware of any communication between the Alabama program and Colorado State regarding next Tuesday's game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm fairly good friends with their head coach. I was shown that article tweet that got put out on that game. I'm going to give him a call here, see what's going on with them. I have no other information other than what you've seen. So, obviously if it's somebody in their program has it and there's a bunch of people having to quarantine, that probably affect the deal. If it's just, it's hard to tell with this. Sometimes it's, sometimes it's them, sometimes it's the opponent, sometimes, it's just hard to tell. And I have no other information other than on our end, we want this game played really badly. They're a really good team. We want to play 2 quality games going into Christmas after that Memphis game. I'd love to get 2 quality games under our belt before SEC play. So, but like I said before, we're going to control everything we can control, and we want to play this game really bad, but sometimes stuff's out of our control, and I'll reach out to Colorado State and see what's going on with them as soon as we get off this press conference.
Next up, Mike Rodak.
Just kind of a 2-part question there. Would there be a contingent you might have pre-existing on maybe another school to play? And then completely different question, just what's the latest on James Rojas? I know going into SEC play, that might have been the timetable.
Yeah, he's still not practicing, Rojas. I'll get to the first question in a second. He's doing a lot of stuff in rehab. He's being able to shoot. He can run. He can do a lot of skill work, but he's not to the point where he's back in live. He's not in anything in practice, to be honest with you. So we've still got a little ways to go with him. Not sure he's going to be available for first SEC game yet, being that's inside of a few weeks here. But hopefully at some point in January we can get him, because he is doing. He can go 100% in some of the skill work he's doing. He just can't go live. And then the second question, we didn't have a contingency plan really on that deal. We last year everything was so fluid. The Western Kentucky game got thrown together days before we played it. We didn't anticipate, these types of things with this many programs shutting down, just because, I think conferences established the fact like everybody's going to do what they can to make sure they keep COVID to a minimum. And I think teams are doing that. And if you're unable to do that in your program, have to cancel a game because of it, it's a forfeit. That's what a lot of conferences have done. So on our end, we've done everything we possibly can to keep COVID out of our program, done a pretty good job with it. So we just kind of anticipated not having many issues. And now that there are, we probably do need to come up with some plans on different things. But on this one, I don't know. I don't have any contingency plans in my mind. We're going to hopefully play this game. And if we get word otherwise, we'll have to talk through what we're going to do.
All right, let's finish up here with Tony Tsoukalas.
Yeah, Nate, a lot of mine was kind of already taken by the last questions, but just assuming this, it could be your last game before SEC play, how extra important does it make this game if that's the case?
I think it's, regardless of what comes after this game tomorrow, this is a huge game based off our performance at Memphis. Like, we need to get back to who we are. We were really good here last year, and we were really good here at times this year because of how hard we played, how unselfish we were, how much we played the game the right way. And we got to get back to doing that regardless of who the opponent is and who we've got coming after them, because that's just who we need to be. We've been that in practice for 2 days. We need to do it, third day in a row in the game and get back to who we are. And, and if it's the last game before conference, I don't anticipate it being that. I anticipate us playing on Tuesday. But if it is, then we need to have a great game going into it. if we play on Tuesday, we need to have a great game going into Tuesday because Colorado State's really good. You know, and Jacksonville State's a perfect game for what we need right now because they're a hard-playing group that if you don't play hard, they're going to beat you. And we need to get our effort back up, and there's nobody better to do it against than a hard-playing group. And, you know, Ray Harper's teams always play hard. They're always tough. They're always physically. They're always going to give you everything they got on defense. So it's a good game for us to test to see how much we're going to get better at some of that type of stuff.